In the silent void above Earth, a new arms race has begun. Not for nuclear weapons, not for stealth technology, but for something even more terrifying: speed. On screen, blazing contrail streak across the sky, missiles and aircraft moving faster than sound can keep up. Because in the 21st century, whoever masters Mach 5 and beyond will dominate the battlefield of tomorrow. This is the Hypersonic Race, and it's going to change air combat forever. The need for speed. For over a century, speed has defined air power. From the first jet engines of World War II to the supersonic breakthroughs of the Cold War, every leap forward reshaped how wars were fought. In 1947, Chuck Yeager shattered the sound barrier in the Bell X-1, hitting Mach 1. 2 decades later, the legendary state Route 71 Blackbird pushed to nearly Mach 3.3. But for decades after, progress seemed to stall. Fighter jets like the F-15, Su-27, and even the stealthy F-35 all cruise comfortably below Mach 2. Why? Because above those speeds, air turns into fire. Temperatures rise beyond 1,500 degrees Celsius. Metals melt. Control surfaces fail. The very atmosphere becomes your enemy. So when engineers started whispering about Mach 5, most thought it was impossible. What does Mach 5 mean? To understand why Mach 5 matters, let's put it into perspective. Mach 1 is the speed of sound, roughly 767 miles per hour. Mach 5 is 5 times that, nearly 3,800 miles per hour. At that speed, you could fly from New York to London in under an hour, or across the continental United States in 30 minutes. But hypersonic flight isn't just about getting there faster. It's about how unpredictable and unstoppable things become at that velocity. A hypersonic weapon can maneuver at blistering speed, dodging defenses that were built to stop traditional missiles. By the time radar detects it, it's already too late. That's why the race to master Mach 5 Plus isn't just technological, it's strategic. It could rewrite the rules of air combat, missile defense, and global deterrence. 2 hypersonic powers, glide versus cruise. There are 2 main paths to hypersonic dominance: glide vehicles and cruise missiles. Hypersonic glide vehicles, or HGVs. They are launched on top of a rocket, like a traditional ballistic missile. But instead of soaring high into space, the warhead detaches and glides just inside the atmosphere, skipping and weaving toward its target at over Mach 20. It's a nightmare for defense systems, fast, low, and maneuverable. That's what makes weapons like China's DF-ZF and Russia's Avangard so terrifying. Hypersonic cruise missiles. Unlike glide vehicles, these use a revolutionary engine, the scramjet, short for supersonic combustion ramjet. It doesn't need oxygen tanks. Instead, it breathes air from the atmosphere, compresses it at supersonic speed, and ignites fuel directly in the airstream. It's like strapping a controlled explosion to a dart. This is the technology behind America's hypersonic air-breathing weapon concept, HAWC, and the Boeing X-51 Wave Rider. They promise sustained, controlled flight at Mach 5+, without the need for rockets. The new global race. Make no mistake, the hypersonic race is a new Cold War. And this time, it's not just 2 superpowers. Russia was first to claim victory. In 2019, it announced the Avangard, a nuclear-capable glide vehicle reaching Mach 27. President Putin declared it invincible. Then came the Kinshal, an air-launched missile fired from a MiG-31, set to hit Mach 10. Western analysts debate those numbers, but one thing's clear: Russia fired the world's first hypersonic missiles in combat during the war in Ukraine. China followed closely with the DF-17, carrying the DF-ZF glide vehicle. In 2021, China reportedly tested a hypersonic system that orbited the Earth before striking its target, catching U.S. intelligence completely off guard. Meanwhile, the United States, long the pioneer of aerospace technology, found itself playing catch-up. Programs like DARPA's HAWC, ARW, and Glidebreaker aim to close the gap and restore America's technological edge. But the U.S. isn't alone. India, Australia, Japan, and Europe are all developing their own hypersonic technologies. Because in the next decade, whoever controls Mach 5 controls deterrence itself. Why hypersonics change air combat? So, how will hypersonics change air combat forever? Let's start with reaction time. Traditional air defense systems, like the U.S. Patriot or Aegis, rely on predictable trajectories. They calculate a missile's path and intercept it mid-flight. But a hypersonic glide vehicle doesn't fly predictably. It zigzags, dives, and maneuvers while traveling faster than 5 times the speed of sound. That leaves just seconds to detect, track, and respond. For fighter pilots, this means no warning. In a future dogfight, hypersonic air-to-air missiles could strike before the enemy radar even locks on. Imagine an aircraft firing a Mach 6 missile from 200 miles away. The opponent has less than 2 minutes to react. Electronic warfare, countermeasures, and evasive maneuvers won't be enough. It's a new kind of warfare, speed warfare. Hypersonics will also shatter the stealth advantage. Stealth jets like the F-35 and B-2 rely on low radar signatures to approach undetected. But with hypersonic weapons, you don't need to sneak in. You can strike from beyond radar range in minutes. In other words, the future of combat may shift from who can hide better to who can strike faster. The technology challenges. Of course, flying at Mach 5 isn't as simple as pushing the throttle. At hypersonic speeds, air molecules themselves become a plasma, superheated, electrically charged gas that interferes with sensors and communication. That's the plasma blackout problem. For a few crucial seconds, your vehicle becomes radio silent. Then there's thermal protection. Even titanium can't handle the heat for long. That's why engineers are turning to carbon-carbon composites, ceramics, and even active cooling systems to prevent vehicles from burning up. And don't forget guidance and control. At Mach 5+, every millisecond counts. A tiny miscalculation at launch could mean missing the target by miles. That's why AI and real-time computing are becoming as important as engines. Future hypersonic systems will rely on autonomous course correction, adaptive flight algorithms, and machine learning to survive the extreme conditions. The defense problem. So how do you stop something moving faster than a bullet? The short answer, you probably can't. Not yet. Current missile defense systems were designed for ballistic threats. Predictable arcs, not agile gliders. Even the world's most advanced interceptors, like the SM-6 or THAAD, struggle to react in time. That's why the US and its allies are working on layered defenses, combining early warning satellites, infrared tracking, and new interceptors capable of Mach 10 speeds. DARPA's Glide Breaker project aims to shoot down hypersonic weapons mid-flight using hit-to-kill technology, essentially ramming one hypersonic object into another. It's like hitting a speeding bullet with another bullet, while both are on fire. In the future, directed energy weapons, like lasers, might be the only true defense. Light travels at, well, the speed of light. But those systems are still in experimental stages. Until then, the world's best defense might simply be deterrence. It's not just an evolution of flight. It's a revolution in warfare, deterrence, and global power. From Mach 1 to Mach 5 and beyond, we're entering a realm where distance no longer matters, and reaction time decide victory. The question is no longer can we go faster. It's who will get there first, and who will survive the world that follows. The Hypersonic Race, changing air combat forever. If you liked our video, please hit the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel.